I've always been what we call a union maid. My father was Bell Canada management, but the operators at Bell went out on strike. And because he was very close to these operators, he was very supportive of their strike. And so that strike was something that was in my family. In high school, I worked at a company called Bix Pickles. There was a strike, and my parents kind of said, well, they're on strike, but you shouldn't go into work. And I just got a kind of social justice training, I think, as a young person, and that carried right through to university and through my academic career. The Eaton strike was probably the most important strike around women's issues in Canada. It involved 1,500 women. It was the first time that women came out as a united women's strike. I was at the strike almost every day. It caught on. The labor movement supported it. The women's movement supported it. And that's the first time that came together. And they did very well. They got most people in Canada on their side. It's a very popular strike. A historian at U of T was sponsoring a huge international women's history conference called the Berkshires, and for the first time it was going to be outside the US. And she wanted to do something that displayed the history of women in Toronto. So she asked a group of us who had been with something called the Women's Strike Support Coalition, and we got together and we just decided to write this play. It's called Women Strike at Eaton's Life on the Line. And it kind of starts with the organizing drive of a group of women who have never even thought of a union and were afraid of unions, and their husband said, you're not going to the organizing meeting, and right through to the 6 months where they ended up the last day of the strike. So it's the emotions and how their families responded, and mostly how they changed. What they did change, these women on strike. Because I think it's in the strikers' own words, it just resonates with people who've ever been on strike, in many ways stood up for their rights around anything. So I think it's used to sort of inspire people that we can get out and organize today, because this is what we need with the growth of precarious work. We need to get people in unions. The most exciting thing happening, I think, is what started as something called the 15 movement, a kind of campaign to get $15 for fast food workers that has spread like wildfire, and it's condensed the idea that precarious, the most vulnerable workers in Canada and in North America and likely in the world should be given a wage they can live on. Because of the incredible increase in precarity and precarious work, it's kind of a movement that just says, okay, let's solve this immediately with basic wages. And I think it's the first step.